Alright, welcome back to Fitz Painting Repairs Garage. We're continuing on this 96 Vulcan Classic with the second gear issue. We've got pretty much everything all disconnected. I got to go back through and double check and triple check and whatnot. But we're about ready. We're down to the point where we got to take the motor mounts loose. Alright, we had to remove the radiator, carburetor, intake system, exhaust off the other side, floorboards, disconnect charging system and all these connectors in here, your sensors. I removed the slave cylinder and tucked it back out of the way. That way I didn't have to take the line home and break it loose. But by the looks of that in there, we're going to have to clean that and maybe rebuild it anyways. So we've got everything disconnected that I can tell. We'll go around the other side of the bike. There is one thing that I'll point out on this. Alright, we've got the brake pulled back out of the way. Eventually we're going to take all that off anyways because we've got to clean everything, reservoirs and all. But for right now we're getting it tucked out of the way. Now this is a good clear section. You can see right there is some big Allens on that, and you come down here and there's another set back up under there, and that whole section that holds the floorboard and brake assembly and all that all removes and comes off, and then this motor can be disconnected. We got to take this mount out. There's these two bolts. We got to take this front mount off and out of the way, unbolt it, get it completely out of the way so we've got room. And we come over here and we got these mounts and around the other side, and then she just comes right out. Pretty easy. So, but to get her out completely, here inside the shaft, you see this little hole here? There's a locking pin. You got to stick a pin down in that and push in the little button pin to release the drive shaft mechanism here on the output shaft that goes into the drive shaft. And and then when you go to remove it, it'll slide right out. Otherwise, you won't be able to get that part out, and you'll be yanking on it and yanking on it. You'll be like, what the hell? And you'll pull the whole shaft loose and break it. So there's a little hole in here, and if yours is turned, and you can't see it, jack up the rear wheel and spin the rear wheel until put the transmission in neutral, and spin this rear wheel until the shaft lines up and you can get to that hole, and then you can push in on that little pin. You just take like a little bit or a little reamer or something, you just push in a little piece of steel or something and just push in on that little pin, and then the drive shaft will unlock and you can pull it out. So we've got everything disconnected on here. Carburetor and all that is all disconnected. Intake manifold. Might have to replace this. So we might end up going with a different breather on this setup and remove all this. Get it all out of there and put like a hypercharger setup on it. And then we might go ahead and remove these blocks, put the plates on, get that all done. When this goes back together, it should be nice and clean. But I'll show you guys where this engine leak is, and it's on that right side case on the lower front. And that's it right there. You can kind of see where they put that putty on right there. They told me they jacked it up and they cracked the case. So we'll see if we can fix it when we pull it all apart. It depends on how bad that is. Once we get this out of here, we'll clean that all off. And we'll get a good look at it once we split the cases. And if it's worth it, then we'll have the transmission. We'll get that fixed, get the gear fixed. We'll fix that by welding it. If we can just brace that up and seal it, it doesn't seem to be a structural issue, I don't think, but we'll see. So, as you can see here, we got these coolant systems all removed, ground straps and the starters. Everything's all pulled out of the way. We got everything all loose and ready to go. And you see here, we got the same setup. We just unbolt here. We're going to unbolt this, and remove this entire mount out of the way. And then we just got to come back here and pull this. And these mounts come right off. So we'll just take that completely out of the way, and then she's loose, and that's all that holds her in. And then pivot her the other way, rock her out of the way, and she'll come right out. So stay tuned.